the big story, and you know, sometimes because of the other stuff I do, sometimes on a Thursday or Friday when a big story feels, I'm like, oh my God, Harry and Meghan.
The latest.
I mean, this Sentebale boss, whose name escapes me for a
Sophie
second.
Chanduka, Dr. Sophie Chanduka.
You would have to say a lady of quite brilliant credentials who was handpicked to do this. I mean, I didn't know, she did the interview with Trevor Phillips, didn't she? I didn't know they go back a long way. Incendiary would be an understatement. I actually watched it. But what I said to David, and I'll repeat to you, for me, this sums up the hypocrisy of those two. I always remember saying, you know, look, you disagree with the royal family, I happen to be a massive royalist, that's fine. Disappear, go and bring up your kids in America. I salute you for walking out of that, away from the bubble. But when you land, you sign this $100 million deal to slag off the very thing you don't want to be part of. You want to keep your titles, all of that. But the one thing that the racism, the misogyny, the sexism, the immorality of the royal family, well, there you bloody well go. Right? You know, this, let's be honest, this is the black woman running a charity in Africa in Harry's name, in his mother's memory. She has nothing to achieve by saying what she's achieved. What she's saying about him.
Said it incredibly forthrightly and incredibly articulately as well, and incredibly calmly. You know, and obviously there's been a fallout, but you know, if this stuff wasn't true, then you'd have Harry and Meghan coming out and saying it. And it's amazing, isn't it? So remember about
they've said
about a year ago, they've said we will stop using royal sources or sources close to Harry and sources close to Meghan because we don't believe that's right and it's, you know, it's immoral, la la la. Because, you know, often Buckingham Palace or the royals won't want to specifically comment on a story, but so they'll do sources. And they're saying we're not doing that. We'll only ever give on the record quotes from a spokesman for Harry and Meghan. And lo and behold, what do we get at this story? A source close to the Sussexes saying it's not true. And well, if it's not true, go on the record and say that. Or will you be proven to be lying?
I wish you'd met the old man. As you know, he worked for the Queen Mother for 41 years. He said to me a couple of years before he died, he said to me, let me tell you, he'll be back in England with his ginger tail between his legs when she's had her fill, and she will absolutely use everything to make it. I believe this boy is in severe... I mean, I talk about barking up the wrong tree.
Well,
they're horrible. I don't care what anybody says.
I just wonder how many bridges he's burnt here. And also, look, his father is unwell. He's not, you know, he is an older man, and you just wonder, you know, in a couple of decades' time, you know, whether this would all be worth it.
I'll tell you something I do know. I happen to believe his dad isn't well. I agree with you. I'm not speculating. I'm being completely honest about that. I know this for a fact. His brother, right, will never forgive him.
No.
Never. And if Charles passes away in the next 5, 10 years, 15 years, whatever, there's no way back but a very miserable existence. But the thing for me is, Harry, right, this is classic. You want to go from being a royal to a celebrity, and then you want to moan and bitch about the response and the criticism you get. That is what comes with it. That is exactly with what... And her, honestly, mate, just...
Are you saying you won't be making her lemon-crusted Meghan's tart dessert?
Now, you haven't got any kids. I've got more than Boris Johnson. Let me tell you, with my hand on my heart, there has never been a bloody moment in my house where at 7:10 any morning, it's so nice to just make a plate of fruit and use some cottage cheese as clouds, you stupid, ridiculous woman. There's toast being flung past my nose, there's Marmite being sprayed across the walls. This is ludicrous rubbish. And honestly, you will get the truth here in the current bun. Honestly, I can't have them. And I don't understand how anybody could ever advise them. I can't imagine that they've ever listened to anybody.
I think that's the point that this woman was making, Dr. Sophie Chanduka was saying. She's saying that they don't listen to advice and they expect you to basically go out there and do their PR for them.
Yeah.
But it's not a two-way street. It's you know, and history, sort of St James's Park and the gates of Buckingham Palace are littered with people who tried to go and work for them for a long time and didn't. And so, lo and behold, so is Netflix and all these other places they've gone to work. It's remarkable how they all fall out with everyone.
Proud to tell you, Oliver was the 5th person to put flowers against the gate at Windsor. You know, we lived on the Long Walk, and we were there when the 4 of them came down, and I'm telling you categorically with my own eyes, 100 yards behind them, behind some trees coming down from the castle, with a Netflix crew. Right, there is fact. Nailed on. A few other quick stories. Stuff to make your... by the way, don't forget, Jodie is here, 0344 499 1000. Harry and Meghan, Starmer, immigration answers. Don't be so bleeding ridiculous. This is bound to send me through the roof. Ethnic minority criminal suspects are being given priority by judges considering bail under a new two-tier justice guidelines drawn up by the Ministry of Justice. We go back to that thing I just said to you about immigration and people coming to this country. We are now looking at real two-tier justice. So if you are from a particular area, region, religion, you're going to be treated differently. Surely, again, unless I'm missing the point, you break the law, you break the bleeding law.
This is sort of the fallout also from the Sentencing Council, which will allow ethnic minorities and transgender people and basically anyone who's not a white man be, afforded a slightly more sympathetic hearing in pre-sentencing.
Why?
Well, to be fair. If you look at sentencing data, there is a disproportionate amount of black men, especially, who are given harsher sentences for similar crimes to white people. That's
wrong.
That is wrong. That is, of course, wrong.
Absolutely.
But there is a way that you can fix that. There is
not to go the other way.
This is the problem. This is using a sledgehammer to crack a walnut.
Yeah.
And the problem is, and Starmer knows how toxic that two-tier Keir moniker is. It's cut through. It's become sort of part of modern parlance. It is people who aren't following politics and who aren't interested in politics, and people who aren't listening to talk radio all day. People are using it
they are.
You know what? It's crept onto BBC comedy, so therefore it really has.
Listen, two-tier farmer armour, granny armour, all that. You're right. You're absolutely right.
He knows how toxic that is for him. So on the sentencing, they're going to say, look, and this is another classic. They've said we've known about this thing for 3 weeks now, and we knew it was coming in on the 2nd of April, 1st of April, or 2nd of April, whenever it is. That these new sentencing guidelines that will basically be a blanket sort of blanket sympathy for everyone who's not a white man, and so. We knew that was coming in, and so they said, well, they would argue with the Sentencing Council, urging them not to do this and to change the guidance. Sentencing Council, anonymous quango of quite high and mighty judges told them to do one.
I love the way the finger came up halfway there and then stopped.
They got onto their high horses, so finally now the Justice Secretary, we're going to change the law. We're going to change the law. And so yesterday we were talking to them. They were saying we're going to announce we're going to change the law. We're going to change the law this week. They're going to publish the bill this week. It's going to take months to get it through Parliament. When we were having an argument back and forth at Lobby this morning, but when we talked to Number 10 journalists and when we sort of have a bit of an interaction, and we were saying, will it be done by Easter? Will it be done by the summer break? Will it be done this year? And soon. It'll be done
Kicked down.
Soon.
Unbelievable. Two other stories. You're a legend. We love having you on. Southport riots fueled by Guardian editors, said Lord Sewell. What do we make of that this weekend? It's an extraordinary headline.
I saw this sort of rumbling yesterday, and I just thought...
The editors of The Guardian were partly to blame for creating the conditions that caused the Southport riots last year. A peer has claimed. Lord Sewell of Sanderstead, who was appointed by Boris Johnson and I there, to chair the Commission on Race and Ethnic Disparities in 2020, told a debate about immigration at the Oxford Literary Festival yesterday that the Southport riots came out of a combination of two people, Guardian editors and criminal arsonist.
I mean, it's punchy. Tony Steele is not he's not a fringe figure. He is a respected man, and if he's making the case for it, I wouldn't lay the blame entirely at just the Guardian, but I think the police have a lot to. Actually, not the frontline cops, and I stress that point. Not the cops who were having bricks thrown at them, not the cops that were picking up literally, bodies the day before, but the senior police and
the career ones,
the senior coppers and the CPS who colluded to basically keep the public in the dark. That's where the blame lies.
Finally, and I am. Do you go to B&Q?
I have been to B&Q.
Have you? I can't really... having seen you at Cheltenham, I don't consider you a man of DIY. My dad used to call an electrician to change a light bulb, and I'm not actually joking. B&Q staff have been told the phrases blind drunk and deaf to our pleas are offensive to disabled people. A 30-page inclusive language guidebook issued by the DIY chain warns against using these phrases or others that associate impairments with negative things. The guidance is the latest example of complete madness, so you can't say deaf. What was it? Blind drunk.
Blind. I mean, well.
Deaf as a...
Deaf as a doorknob. Can't say
deaf
that?
as a doorknob?
You're not allowed to say
You've
that?
upset people without a doorknob now. What do you mean that?
The best one I ever heard of this was, it was literally spies. It was GCHQ, our big listening station, talking of which, up in Cheltenham.
Yes.
You know, it is, you know, some of the brightest minds as well. It was born out of Bletchley Park.
Yes.
You know, like the smartest, most clever people
You
working
would think.
24 hours a day trying to keep us safe. And they're all computer scientists. And in computing, you have something called a blacklist and a whitelist. In computer coding, it always has been called the blacklist and the whitelist. Well, that's what they said. They're trying to ban the very people that are trying to stay up all night, keep us safe, writing ridiculous computer codes to spy on the Chinese and the Russians and the Iranians and North Koreans. And there's the all-staff memo comes around and says, sorry guys, can you take time out of protecting the nation to educate yourselves on not using words like whitelist and blacklist because it implies good versus
So
evil.
blackjack, you can't go. I mean, honestly, the whole
blackjack.
everything.
A blackjack's still a penny. I bet they're not.
You can't say that, the sweets. Oh my God, it's all gone wrong. Don't start that. So you're doing Thursday drive time.
No, I'm not doing Thursday drive
You're
time
not?
this week. No, because you're doing Thursday drive time.
I'm doing Thursday drive time.
Because you're not doing Tuesday because you've got a special day tomorrow.
I have got a special day tomorrow.
You're on day release.
I'm day release tomorrow. ITV 9 o'clock. It's me back on ITV after many.
Are you doing a little warm-up tour? Are you doing a little fluffer tour for it?
No, I'm doing an hour with Kate Garraway tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. So that'll be great. Thanks for that. Will you be watching?
Only to see.
Only because he's seen the rushes and he went, "Why were you wearing a turquoise suit?" It wasn't. I think that was.
I will tune in to make sure it was indeed blue rather than a sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit of a showbiz.
So the colour of the drive background.
Ooh, you might be right. I think the likes killed me. The legend that is Harry Cole, thank you very much indeed.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Royal Sussex Squad. If you love truth, fairness and Harry and Meghan, you're in the right place. And if you're here to hate, well, get ready to have your nonsense exposed. Once again, the British media and their royalist mouthpieces are falling over themselves to attack Harry and Meghan. This time, it's the same tired, hypocritical argument. They left, so why are they still talking about the monarchy? Well, maybe because the same monarchy and media refuse to stop talking about them. The so-called royal experts obsess over their every move, twisting facts and fueling baseless narratives. The latest hit piece is just another attempt to undermine their work. Meghan is once again being dragged over nothing, and Harry's dedication to causes like Sentebale is being overshadowed by cheap attacks. Let's be clear, Harry and Meghan are thriving, making real impact while their critics sit behind desks, spinning nonsense. And let's talk about this absurd claim that Harry will come crawling back. Really? The man is living his best life, raising his kids in a safe, loving environment with a woman he adores. Meanwhile, the monarchy is in crisis and the press is desperately trying to shift the focus away from real royal scandals. So let's call it what it is: jealousy, bitterness, and a fear of change. But we see through it, and if you do too, make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and support the channel with a super thanks. Let's keep pushing back against the hate. Until next time, stay strong, stay informed, and stay Sussex positive.